UFC Fight Night Sandhagen versus Figueiredo took place this weekend, and overall, I have to say it was a pretty underwhelming card. A lot of stinker performances from some of the people on this card. A couple of good finishes. Sandhagen had a pretty good finish. De Ridder had a pretty good finish. There were some good finishes on this card, but there were also a lot of boring fights, and I thought a lot of these fights one way were one-sided. And Tony has died, will be going through the card. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that. So let's get straight into it. First fight on the card, Corey Sandhagen versus Deiveson Figueiredo, bro. Listen, I picked Corey Sandhagen in this fight, but I picked Corey Sandhagen to win by a competitive 48-47 decision, 49-46 decision. You know, what the fuck was Figueiredo's plan in this fight? What was his plan, bro? Just go out there and attempt heel hooks like he's fucking Ryan Hall, bro? This isn't 2011. This isn't even 2009, bro. Heel hooks don't work in MMA. They don't. If you were, well, I guess you could say they do, since Sandhagen fucking snapped Figueiredo's leg, but that was like a fluke. I don't even know if that was a fluke or not, bro. That's just Figueiredo putting himself into a bad position and being an idiot. And like, what was Figueiredo's plan with this fight, man? I see Figueiredo go out there, right? He's the one shooting takedowns on Sandhagen, which is, first of all, why? The only way that Figueiredo is going to win this fight is by knockout, and he's over there shooting takedowns and going for heel hooks. Literally held the first round, literally just held a heel hook the entire round, cranking it, trying to get it. No fight IQ from Figueiredo. He looked washed as fuck. This was really sad because even though I picked Sandhagen, I was cheering for Figueiredo, bro, because when I got into the sport, Figueiredo was the champion. You know what I mean? And just to see him like washed like this, like no fight IQ displayed. First round, he goes out there, just nothing for him. And then the second round, he's just going for heel hooks again after it didn't work the first round. Like, what was his plan, bro? But good performance by Corey. He did everything he had to do to win. He showed levels, I guess, but for Corey, I think Corey should fight the loser of O'Malley and Merab, and if I had to pick an early person for that, I'd probably think O'Malley's gonna lose again. So Sandhagen versus O'Malley after O'Malley loses makes sense to me. And for Figueiredo, he's gonna be out for a while, I think. You know, he got injured pretty bad. He literally like submitted himself basically, bro. So I think Figueiredo should go back to flyweight at least when it comes back, because what we saw from this fight and from the Peter Yan fight is that Figueiredo clearly could not hang with the top of 135. I don't even know what his plan was going into this. Like, it was just a pathetic performance, bro. Very sad from Figueiredo. Very sad. Next fight on the card. All right. Now, this is where I was coping, kind of. Not kind of. I was coping. I like Bo Nickal, man. I know Bo Nickal gets a lot of hate, but I don't understand the hate for Bo Nickal personally. All right. I get he was put on UFC 300. I don't think he should have been on 300. I don't think anyone should have been put on 300, bro. But the hate for Bo Nickal is crazy, bro. People were like preying on this man's downfall. Like, why? Why are we cheering against Bo Nickal? He's an undefeated, entertaining American fighter. When do we have undefeated American fighters that are entertaining, bro? We don't get that anymore in the sport, and everyone's preying on his downfall. But regardless, bro, I picked Bo Nickal in this fight, and I thought he would go out there, get the takedowns on De Ridder, and was good enough to not get submitted. And you know, he got a takedown on De Ridder, but De Ridder just showed like crafty vet levels. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, De Ridder just showed that he was on a different level than Bo Nickal. His experience really outshone Bo. Bo looked like he never stepped in the cage before. He looked like a fish out of water. Bo looked like a fish out of water in there, man. Literally just throwing overhands, clinching. De Ridder would like take, dude, I think De Ridder took Bo down once, and he went for a sub of his own. Obviously, he didn't get it, but second round, Bo goes out there, lands a pretty good overhand on De Ridder, but then De Ridder just starts cranking body shots, landing knees into the body, landing body punches. Bo starts shelling up, and De Ridder starts going to the face, hitting him in the face, and then Bo just finally like crumbles to a brutal knee he just throws against the cage. And yeah, man, that was it for Bo. He just showed that he was not ready for the rankings. He needs to do the Raw Rosas Jr. fucking storyline where they just feed him cans for a while. Like, straight to the rankings was not the move for the UFC for Bo Nickal. I think he needs to get a couple more. He needs to get some more experience. You know what I mean? Like, he looked very inexperienced in the cage. De Ridder clearly showed him levels, outstruck him bad, dropped him, put him away. So for Bo Nickal, I think his next fight should be Shara Bullet Magomedov. Now, they've had a little tiny beef going on already. They were yapping at each other saying, oh, I'm going to knock you out, I'm going to take you down, I would easily defeat you. Like, Bo and Shara, both guys right outside the rankings, previously ranked, that got fraud checked, have beef. Shara needs to prove that he has wrestling. Bo needs to prove that he has striking. Let's see that fight, Shara Bullet versus Bo Nickal. And for De Ridder, what makes sense for De Ridder is a fight fight with Jared Cannonier. Now, well, listen, I have two options for him, I think. You can either rush him to the title shot since he's an older fighter, you know, and you could give him the guy that he called out in Sean Strickland. But honestly, I think that they're going to, like, I would rather see Sean Strickland fight Robert Whitaker, but I think they're going to make Sean Strickland versus Adesanya 2, which is a fight that I hate. It's a fight that makes no sense whatsoever, but I think that's the fight that the UFC is looking at, is Strickland versus Adesanya 2. Maybe help Adesanya out, redeem one of his matches. He doesn't deserve that fight at all, but that's what the UFC is thinking. But so I don't think that De Ridder's going to get Strickland. What I do think De Ridder should get, I think De Ridder should fight Jared Cannonier. I think that Jared Cannonier versus Reinier De Ridder would be one of the best fucking fights that you can make, bro. Think about the scrap that would be. Jared's always game. He's old. You know, he just beat an unranked Gregory Rodriguez, right? And he hasn't really proved that he deserves to fight up, you know? He just beat Gregory Rodriguez, and he got dropped twice in that fight as well. Rainier's on a 3-fight finish streak, undefeated in the UFC, deserves to fight up. I think Jared Cannonier versus Reinier De Ridder is the fight to make, and honestly, I'd probably pick Reinier De Ridder by dropping a giant anvil on Jared Cannonier's head, bro. When they started scrapping, there'd be like a giant ball of smoke, basically. Like, you know what I mean? Like a bunch of hands popping out the smoke like a cartoon, bro. Yeah, this is the fight to make, in my opinion. Let's move on to the next one, bro. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus D-Rod. My boy D-Rod, he got it done, man. He got it done, dude. D-Rod looked like prime D-Rod out there, man. He looked like he was ready to bang. Dude, he looked good. First round, he goes out there, kind of a slow start. Both guys are trying to find their range. You know, Ponzinibbio's low-key winning some of these exchanges, but he's not really doing any damage. Then D-Rod lands a nasty fucking punch right to the face, wobbles Ponzinibbio, has fucking butter legs, and starts chasing him around the whole fight, beating the fuck out of Santiago Ponzinibbio. Literally, like, masterclass. He looked like Garbrandt versus Cruz. You know what I mean? Yeah, he looked like Garbrandt versus Cruz out there. Second round, Ponzinibbio, you know, you can low-key give that round to Ponzinibbio, but I didn't. I gave it to D-Rod. Very close round. D-Rod won, like, the first 2 minutes of that, outstriking him, and then Ponzinibbio took him down, held him there. I don't think it was enough to outdo what D-Rod did the first 2 minutes, but third round, D-Rod goes out there, man, and just lands like a beautiful 5-punch combination on Santiago Ponzinibbio. And I saw some people saying early stoppage, bro. Literally, there's like this picture of D-Rod like screaming, and Ponzinibbio is like fucking unconsciously trying to fight. Like the refs holding him back. Like he literally is like walking around like punch drunk, you know? So D-Rod gets a nasty finish, and for D-Rod, I think his next fight should be against Gunnar Nelson or Nicholas Dalby. Nicholas Dalby just got flatline knocked out by Randy Brown in his last fight. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. I think he needs to fight down D-Rod. This was a pretty decent win. You know, he's kind of at the bottom of welterweight. I think that fight makes sense for both guys. And for Ponzinibbio, I honestly think he should retire. But if he doesn't retire, I think he should fight RDA after RDA comes back from his injury. If RDA comes back from his injury, I think they're both old as fuck, both taking so much damage. I think RDA versus Ponzinibbio makes a lot of sense. Let's move on to the next one. Montel Jackson versus Daniel Marcos. Dude, this fight fucking sucked, bro. This fight sucked, and it was both of their faults that it sucked. It was both of their faults that this fight sucked. Both of each other, like both guys literally just held each other against the fucking fence, landed knees, trying to take each other down. It was a terrible fight overall. I think that Montel Jackson, I think he should fight the loser of Mario Batista and Chito Vera. I think that makes a lot of sense. He's a ranked fighter. Daniel Marcos was undefeated somehow. Worst undefeated fighter I've ever seen, bro. 17-0. Literally, it looked like he never thrown a fucking punch before. He was gassing in the third. He looked bad, bro. Yeah, Daniel Marcos, I think he should fight Damon Blackshear. Blackshear just came off a good win last week. I think Daniel Marcos should fight Blackshear. Now, let's just kind of speed run through the rest of this. This fight was lackluster as well. Pretty boring once again. I thought Smotherman would be able to win at least 2 rounds, you know, just kind of lay it on late at the end, but apparently not. He won the last round, but he couldn't get anything going. Sergey City, Ukrainian bastard, got it done. Just too crafty for him, man. Pretty close fight, but I do think that Sergey City was too rangy, and yeah. This fight, okay. This fight was a fucking banger, bro. Dude, the people in the crowd that were booing this fight pissed me off so bad. This fight was fireworks. First and second round of this fight were insane, and credit to Mason Jones. He literally could have just out wrestled Stevens and made it a boring fight, but he's a real fucking fucking fighter, bro. And he decided to give the fans some entertainment. And he went out there and slugged with Stevens, giving him a puncher's chance on the feet. Mason Jones, crafty as fuck, landed a bunch of good shots, went out there and was just landing brutal elbows, fucking 1-2s down the pipe, hooks. If Stevens would land something, stun, the crowd would go crazy, but then Mason Jones would literally land right back immediately. And that's how it went for the first 2 rounds. And then the third round, Mason Jones said, fuck that, I gotta secure the win. Took Stevens down and people started booing, but it's like he's still chasing subs while he's on the ground. He's still trying to get top position. He's still landing damage. So I don't get why you're booing. I get Stevens is from Iowa and you gotta boo the fucking guy, but he just gave you 2 rounds of war. Fuck you. If you booed him, if you were at Iowa and you were booing Mason Jones, fuck you. This fight was a banger. Credit to both guys. But yeah, Stevens really should not have been re-signed to the UFC, in my opinion. He looked like shit. This fight, Miesha Tate, I thought Miesha Tate could get 2 takedowns. She only got 1 takedown, man. You know, once Miesha got Santos down, it was very clear who was the better fighter. Literally was playing with her on the ground, almost finished her, took her back, won the 3rd round easily, but she just couldn't get that done. 1st and 2nd round were clearly Miesha Tate can't get 2 takedowns. She fucking sucked. Alright, next fight. This was a nasty knockout as well, and yeah, this fucking fight, pretty decent fight. Asamat just kind of beat the fuck out of Ryan Loder. You know, Ryan Loder looked like he never stepped in the cage before, failed every takedown, got stuffed, got the fuck beat out of him, and got knocked the fuck out. And shelled up against the fence and got knocked out. So, yeah. Jillian Robertson is the GOAT. Ilya Aptoro. Yeah, he got choked unconscious by Quang Le, bro, by the Korean zombie, the Vietnam zombie. Thomas Jefferson won with ease, bro. Dontel Mays, how the fuck do you get 30-25 by Thomas Jefferson, bro? How do you get 30-25 by Thomas Jefferson, bro? And somehow Ivana Petrovic lost to Juliana Miller. Don't even get me started, bro. Juliana Miller literally sucks so bad. I don't know how you lose to her, bro. That will do it. That was it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that YouTube shit, and comment what videos you guys want to see next, and comment, you know, just make fun of me in the comments for getting all of these picks wrong. I think I went like 6-6 on the card, so pretty mid card overall for me. You know, my boys lost, so I didn't have a good night. But besides that, have a good night and peace.